Hi everyone, this is Eduardo Enestal for Tom Bass, and today we are getting started with scales. First of all, we have to define what is a scale. And we will say it is a group of notes that are arranged by ascending or descending order of pitch. And the question is, how do we play that on the guitar? Usually are more fingers involved, index and middle usually, and are several strings involved. But before we get to that point, let's get started. The first thing we have to pay attention when we play scales, in particularly, but when we play guitar in generally, are two things. First of all, we need to have a very good position of the guitar. We need to sit properly, we need to have the guitar properly in touch with our body, and we have as well to be completely relaxed, or as relaxed as possible. So from the very beginning, it's very important that you pay attention to your body, to your position, and to your relaxation. So you have to pay attention to your fingers, to pay attention to your shoulders, to your arm, to the whole body, because the minimum tension is going to have an impact on your technique, an impact in your playing, and we want to avoid that. So the first thing, and that's really key, is to pay attention on your position and that you play relaxed. So let's start with a couple of concepts that are very important while we are playing scales. The first thing is you have to forget about speed, about tempo. That is not important. That's not a goal. Speed is going to be a consequence of relaxation, and it's going to come by itself. So it's not a goal that we have to seek. It's going to come, so don't worry about that. The first thing we have to pay attention is, as I said, to play relaxed and to have the right movements, to play with the right movements. And before we involve both hands, let's try to talk about our right hand and what is going to do when we play scales. There are two possibilities when we play scales. We can play with index and middle finger, tirando, so that is free stroke, but also apoyando. So these two possibilities is what we can use while playing scales. We can also say that we could have more fingers involved, more than index and middle. Could be index, middle, and ring, or index and ring, or thumb and index. But today we're going to be concentrate on just the most common way of playing scales, index and middle. So it's the only thing we're going to talk about with these two fingers. So as I said, you can play free stroke, or you can play rest stroke. The difference between both is when we play rest stroke, our fingers are going to rest, are going to be stopped by the adjacent string. And when we play free stroke, our finger has no contact with another string whatsoever, and it's going to go inside the palm of our hand. That means when we talk about the scales and when we play scales, we always have the possibility of playing as well tirando and apoyando, so we can choose. And I would like you to practice all the exercises that we are going to do now with these both possibilities, free stroke and rest stroke. So let's get started with the exercises. So let's get started with free stroke, rest stroke scales. And first of all, we have to concentrate on our right hand. So the first goal that we should have is we have to try to have the same quality of sound with both fingers and the same intensity. So I don't want one finger to play louder than the other one. I want both to be exactly the same, to have the stability. That is the first point we have to reach and to seek. As I said, we have to be as relaxed as possible, and for our first exercise, I want you just to play in open string. You can choose which one, the second or the third, just to play trying to concentrate on your sound, on the volume, and on the quality of the sound. This is very important, as well as the relaxation. Only that. You can change the string, you can play on the second string, but you have to concentrate on the relaxation of the fingers. And as I said, you can do it free stroke or tirando, and rest stroke or apoyando. So it could be exactly the same, the goal is exactly the same. Just try to seek quality of sound and intensity, the same intensity in both fingers. This is very important. Very important is also to play slowly. We have to have the control of our fingers of the sound before we increase speed. So always slowly, in only one string, with these two goals I already mentioned. When you feel confident, we can do a very nice exercise in order to increase a little bit of the speed, and that could be to play double time, double fast. This is very important when we play, to observe that when one finger is inside our palm, the other is already out, in order to be prepared. So it's like walking. We don't want to let both fingers inside, because then it's going to take time to bring the other finger out, and then we're going to be slow. So this is always this walking movement. So this is very important that we do the walking movement. It doesn't matter if we are talking about tirando or apoyando. So we need to have one finger always outside. That's key. Doesn't matter of tirando or apoyando, I need this walking movement with the fingers. So, as I said, the first exercise would be just walking with double time. You can try to do it tirando and apoyando. Observing that you are relaxed, that you have a good position, that your fingers are doing this walking movement. When you feel confident with it, you can try to play in two different strings with exactly the same goals. So we play 4 times slowly, and then you can switch the string. And the same with apoyando. As you see, I play every note with alternate fingering. So that is key when you play scales. You have to alternate. If you repeat one finger, you're going to be slow. It's like walking and then you take 2 steps with the same leg. It doesn't work. You can do it, of course, but you are going to be slower. You are going to you may have an accident, and it's not very nice. So alternate is absolutely important when we want to play scales. So let's talk about now what happened with our left hand when it's involved. The most important thing is to think about the synchronization of both hands. So when we play with one finger here and then with the second finger, we need to be absolutely synchron with our left hand. So let's try to work a little bit on that. And in order to getting started, I propose you a couple of exercises that we can work to seek this synchronization and to getting ready for further scales. The first one would be just with the first and second finger involved. So we're going to do exactly the same as before on the 5th string, but we are going to alternate the first and the second finger on the, for example, 5th fret. And here we are going to seek synchronization. So we are going to try that when our second finger comes is exactly in the same moment that I'm playing with my right hand. And when my second finger lifts the string, it's exactly at the same moment that I'm playing with my right hand. So this synchronization is absolutely key. Another concept that you have to pay attention to is what we could say economy of movements. So the less movement you do with your hands, with both actually, the better. Because you are going to increase accuracy, you are going to reduce time of playing, and you are going to be faster and precise. So that's the main two things. And with the right hand, exactly the same. The more you move your fingers, the slower you're going to be, and you have more possibilities of making a mistake. So let's try to reduce our motion as much as possible and try to be really precise with your movements. And as I said, this is very important, the synchronization. Right hand, free stroke, and rest stroke. You can practice, you have to practice both. So, once we are getting comfortable with one and first finger, then you can do exactly the same with the first and with the third finger. Very important is the synchronization. Very important is the economy of movements. Try to be as lazy as possible. Move yourself as less as possible. And we can do exactly the same with the other combinations of fingers, with free stroke and as well rest stroke. As you see, I have one finger fixed. That's going to give me stability. It doesn't make any sense now for this exercise to lift both fingers because the first one kind of stays and it's going to give us stability, and this is something very important as well for the left hand. So you do all the combinations, 1 second, the first and the second finger, the first and the third finger, first and fourth finger, but we have a couple of combinations still. Second and third, you have to practice as well. And then second and fourth, and last one, third and fourth. Always try to seek for relaxation. Relax is very important. Relax is the most important thing. If you see that one of your fingers is like that or are like that, that's a sign of tension. So try to reduce it. Try to be as close as possible to the strings and to the fret. Exactly the same here. If you see that one finger is like that or is close, that is a sign for tension. So try to reduce it. But not only watching, but feeling. So you can watch, of course, you can see if your fingers are tense, but also you can feel it. And this is very important that you start learning how your body reacts and how your body feels. So it's very important as well to play these exercises with your eyes closed in order to feel. How do I feel my finger? Is like that or is relaxed? Not only with our eyes, but also with our fingers, because we cannot devise our eyes like a chameleon and one eye for the right hand and one eye for the left hand. So we have to search, or sometimes we're looking at the scores. So it is very important that we feel. Our eyes are going to help us to identify tensions, but the feeling is the most important thing. Once you get comfortable with 2 fingers combination in all the combination, first and second, first and third, first, fourth, etc., you can use 3 fingers. You can practice with 3 fingers, and you can do it ascending and descending. As well, we have here many combinations, so let's work on that. But don't forget, goals. You have to play slowly in order to control your body, to control the tensions, to control the quality of the sound and the relaxation. Try to be as lazy as possible and practice it free stroke and rest stroke. So, first combination of fingers, first, second, and third. And back. Speed is not a goal. To play fast is not a goal. It's come to come by itself. And we have another combination of 3 fingers, first, second, and fourth. and back. And the other combination, 1, 3, and 4. And last combination could be the second, the third, and fourth. If you practice these two exercises with combination of 2 fingers and combination of 3 fingers, you have everything pretty much when you play scales. There is one exercise that we have to do, and that is when all the fingers are involved. If we do it, we have first, second, third, and fourth, then we will have a chromatic scale that it also happens to be in our repertoire. So if you control these 3 combinations of 2 fingers, of 3 fingers, and 4 fingers, that's all that you have to know, and that's all that you have to be able of playing while playing in scales in one string. Now the thing is, usually, as I said before, scales involve more than 2 strings, more than 1 string, so at least 2 strings. So it could be very useful now to practice the same exercises but in 2 different strings. For example, we start with combination of 2 fingers. So we have the first and the adjacent string. So we can start with the first, with the third string and with the second. So we can practice, as I said, always free stroke, rest stroke. And then with all the combinations, the first and third, first and fourth, second and third, second and fourth, and 3, 4. That is all the combinations with 2 fingers in 2 strings. If you feel confident, if you can do it, you can add another string and you do this exercise in 3 strings. Okay? Now we have combination of 3 fingers and exactly the same. We involve more than 1 string, so we can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, or 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And with 2 strings, you can already combine this fingering. For example, 1, 2, 4 on the third string, 1, 3, 4 on the next string. So that could be an exercise, or the other way around. And if you practice all the combination in 2 different strings, or more than 2 different strings, you can already play all the scales that are in our repertoire without shifting. That could be in the next chapter.